Hello there and welcome back to a brand new video. The Club World Cup quarterfinals are now upon us, so it's only right that I give you my predictions and give you my thoughts on who's going to advance to the Club World Cup semifinals. So without any further ado, let's hop right into this one and get right into it with my predictions. Just hit that subscribe button. So these are my predictions from the round of 16. I know I didn't post a video on it, but I had Palmeiras beating Botafogo 3-2. I had Man City beating Al Hilal 2-1. I had Dortmund beating Monterrey 2-0. Real Madrid beating Juventus 3-0. Inter beating Fluminense 1-0. Chelsea beating Benfica 2-2, but on penalties they'd win. Bayern beating Flamengo 2-1. And yeah, that was it. But now it's time for the quarterfinals. So without any further ado, let's hop right into this one. First quarterfinal will be Fluminense going up against one of my three favorite teams, Al Hilal. If you didn't know, the two others are Sheffield Wednesday and Venezia. And yeah, so this game is going to be really a good game because Fluminense have come into this with 44-year-old goalkeeper Fabio and 40-year-old center back Thiago Silva, and still managed to beat an Inter Milan team that made it to the Champions League final. Yes, the Champions League final. I know they lost pretty badly in that one, but they still made it to the final, and that's a very impressive thing to make it to the final. So I think that this Fluminense team has definitely accomplished a lot. As for the group results, 0-0 with Mamelodi Sundowns, 0-0 with Dortmund, and 4-2 over Ilsan Hyundai Motors, the South Korean side. And as for Al Hilal, they drew in the group stage 1-1 with Real Madrid. Then they had a 0-0 with Salzburg and a 2-0 over Pachuca. And then in the round of 16, how can we forget about that 4-3 victory? Oh my God, they had a 4-3 victory over Manchester City, the favorites. And I had them getting my own team getting knocked out. If they go out and win that one 4-3, absolutely extraordinary there. What a performance by Al Hilal and their team. It was just an absolute fun game to watch. The 4-3 falling behind and taking the lead. That game was just something else without any doubt. But as the players to look out for, obviously Fabio Thiago Silva. I'll also give you Freitas, John Arias, the Colombian, and Kano with some very good players on the Fluminense. For Al Hilal, a team that I know more closely, I'll give you Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, Malcolm Salam Al-Dusri, Alexander Mitrovic, the likes of other important players such as Bunu as the goalkeeper, Hassan Al-Tambati at center back, Khalidou Koulibaly, the opposite side center back, Renan Lodi at left back, and many others more. But the top player to keep an eye on, I'm going to give you Marcos Leonardo from Al Hilal, and another Brazilian, Mateus Martinelli from Fluminense. That will be an absolute banger of a quarterfinal. Now, as for my score prediction, let's go right into it. I'm going to give you a really good result. I'm going to go Fluminense 2, Al Hilal 3. That's three fingers, isn't it? Yeah, it'll be an absolute banger of a game. And that'll just be so cool. I think Al Hilal and Fluminense 1-1 in the first half, because Al Hilal will still be a little elated after winning. And then in the second half, I see Fluminense scoring the first goal in the second half to make it 2-1. And Al Hilal will go up tied 2-2 and go up 3-2. That's how it's going to go. Mark my words. If it doesn't go, I will attempt at doing whatever crazy drink challenge there is in the comment section, such as chugging a whole Gatorade in 45 seconds. Now for our second quarterfinal, we have Dortmund against Real Madrid, the revival of the Champions League final from 2 years back, where Dortmund lost 2-0 to Los Blancos and the Galacticos. So I think this one is going to be more of the same, honestly. I can see Dortmund getting absolutely blown out of the water against this team, this Real Madrid team that is very, very skilled. And I think that I just see them getting some really good results here, Real Madrid. But I think this Dortmund team is not good enough. I don't rate Niko Kovac as a manager at all. I think he's a complete fraud, and they just got a new manager bounced in the Bundesliga. He's going to nowhere good anywhere else, and you have to get better from Nuri Sahan. So, yeah. That's kind of it for Dortmund. But as a player to look out for Dortmund, I'll give you Serhou Guirassy. Svensson's a very good one. Gregor Kobel as the goalkeeper. Valdemar Anton, Nico Schlotterbeck. And that's kind of the player, but Serhou Guirassy is my main player. That's the one to look out for. Now for the Dortmund's group stage results, they had a 4-3 win over Mamelodi Sundowns, a 0-0 draw with Fluminense, and a 1-0 win on the final match day over Ilsan Hyundai Motors. Yes, so as for Real Madrid, they were in the same group as my team, Al Hilal. I don't have my Al Hilal jersey on right now, but we'll bring it on if we win the semifinals in that video. But I think that one will be very good, as I already told you about. So if you missed that, go back and check. Anyway, Real Madrid 1-1 with Al Hilal, 3-1 over Pachuca, although the Raul Asensio red card. And then in the final match, they had 3-0 win over RB Salzburg. Alright then. So who do I see moving on for this one? But before that, I gotta give you my players to look out for the Galacticos. So I think Rodrigo is not one to look out for. He's played 23 minutes the last 3 games under Xabi Alonso. And they is not even injured at all. So there. But I'll give you Thibaut Courtois, Dean Huijsen. I will give you Kylian Mbappe. He'll be back. And I will also give you Vinicius Jr., Eduardo Camavinga, Aurelian Tchouameni. Some very good players to look at. But the main one, I will say, is actually going to be a bit of a surprise pick. I haven't listed him yet, but I'll say Gonzalo Garcia. He's been good through the group stages and good so far in the knockout stages. So yeah, how do I go see this one go for a score prediction though? I see this one being very one-sided. I'm going to be honest, I think Real Madrid will make this not a contest at all. I think they'll absolutely blow Dortmund out of the water. I see this one being a 4-0 win for Los Blancos. And we're moving on to the next quarterfinal here. We have Bayern against PSG. I think Bayern against PSG will be very good. These two teams are established European giants in the Champions League. They both won a Champions League. They're very good size, as we all know. And I just think that it will be close. You never know me. I'm not the biggest PSG fan out there. I'm sorry if any French soccer fan, because you're a French soccer fan, you probably know that PSG is the only good team in France. No cap. Anyways, yeah, I think that this one will be very, very one-sided. Just kidding, it will not be one-sided. It will be very, very close. Yeah, they're not playing Dortmund here. They're also not playing Auckland City. So I think this one will be a good match. I see Bayern and PSG, good teams. But let's go over the group stages. So PSG, the first game, they absolutely demolished Atletico Madrid 4-0. And then they lost to Botafogo 1-0. That's Botafogo de Futebol e Regatas. And I think the reason they lost to Botafogo and not Atletico Madrid is because since Atletico Madrid's a European team, a little more familiar with their play style, but not as much with the Fogão. So I think that this one will be a close matchup, and it will be very competitive. But Bayern, let's go over their group stage. So we all know they beat Auckland City 10-0 in the first full group game day. And then they played... Who did they play? Check my memory. Who else is in the group? Boca, and they beat Boca Juniors. And then they lost 1-0 to Benfica. So I think they were both in somewhat decent group stages. I mean, 6 points. Decent turnout, don't you think so? So I'm gonna say for this, I'm gonna give you the players to look out for here. I'm gonna say Vincent Kompany is a good manager. So is Luis Enrique. Although I don't like Luis Enrique because he plays in the most boring style. I mean, it's easy on the eye, I guess, but for some people, not me, because he has the ball the whole time. If it's your team, then you're less nervous if you're a Luis Enrique fan. But I think that this one, the players to look out for, I'm going to give you Vitinha, Desiree Doué. I know it's a girl's name in America, at least. Who else? Kavisa Kvaratskhelia, William Pacho. And yeah, that's pretty much it from PSG that I can think of right now. But I will give you the players for Bayern. I'm going to give you Leroy Sané, Harry Kane, the two attackers, Dayo Upamecano at center back, Manuel Neuer still balling out at the ripe old age of whatever he's at now. And I will also say, you got to look out for Thomas Muller. It's his last Bayern tournament. I think he will try to do good there in that one. Alright then, let's move on to the next set of games. For that, I gotta give you my score prediction for Bayern versus PSG. I'm gonna say this one's gonna go all the way very long, and I will say Bayern will nick it in the 118th minute from a Leroy Sané corner. Harry Kane headed in, kind of like he did against Slovenia in the Euros. Start off extra time, and I think that he will get just an absolute great result there, and Bayern see it out to win 1-0. Our last quarterfinal here, we have Palmeiras against Chelsea. Now, SC Palmeiras, Sociedade Esportiva Palmeiras, however you want to say their name, are a very good team. Back-to-back Copa Libertadores for the newbies. That's the South American Champions League. And I just also see with the players, they have Paulinho Estevao, his last Palmeiras tournament before he goes to, guess who, Chelsea. Chelsea, the team they're playing here. Yeah, so they have a good backup goalie, Marcelo Lomba, but he won't start. The goalie will be Weverton, and I see them also playing a very good player here. So I think Palmeiras is doing pretty good. But let's go over Chelsea now. So first we got to talk about Palmeiras' road to this, quarterfinal that they're in. So Palmeiras' group did Inter Miami, Porto, and Al Ahly. First they played Porto, they got 0-0 against the European Giants. Then they took on Al Ahly, where they got the win. It wasn't pretty, but they grinded out that win from an own goal from Wessam Abu Ali, the Palestinian. And then in the final group game, they played Inter Miami. They were 2-0 down, and then went on to draw that one at 2-2. And it's over an Inter Miami team that didn't deserve to be in the round of 16. They got a gimme group, and they could have lost to Al Ahly. Alright, anyways, I think that Palmeiras and Chelsea. Here we have it. Chelsea's round for the group stages onwards. I'm going to say that Chelsea had an okay group stage. First of all, they had a 2-0 win against LAFC. Easy. LAFC were the worst team in the group, and it wasn't even close. Then 3-1 loss to Flamengo. And I think that Flamengo showed their quality, but then who's here in the quarterfinals and who's not? Flamengo, yes, Chelsea an easier path. Like they're playing Benfica, Flamengo's playing Bayern. I think it's a little easier. Even if Benfica beat Bayern, I'd say it's a little easier there for Chelsea. I mean, yeah. So I think, Chelsea had a good round of 16. They had a good, solid group stage. The 3-0 win over Esperance Sportive to Tunis, and then the 4-1 over Benfica. But here's my score prediction. And this one's going to be a banger. No doubt about that. But I'm saving my best prediction for last, because this one's a bit of an upset for you guys. I know I have a lot of people that I know and friends that are Chelsea fans, but I'm sorry. This team has shown a weak backbone. There's too many players rotating in and out of the squad. And Chelsea, I live in Vermont, and the local gym in Vermont is probably 5 times less busy than that Chelsea workout gym. So yeah, I'm going to say here that Chelsea 0. Now let's go change that. Chelsea 1, Palmeiras 1. Goes to extra time. Palmeiras get revenge for that famous 2022 Club World Cup final, and they get a goal. It's going to be the main man for that team, Rafael Veiga. And it's 2-1 Chelsea. Sorry, Palmeiras. Well, there you have it. There's my predictions right there for the Club World Cup quarterfinals. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy. And I'll see you next time for the semifinals.